Welcoming you here to the field at Reeser Stadium. Publisher of BeaversEdge Brenden Slaughter here, joined by BeaversEdge writer Ryan Harlan. We're coming to you guys following Oregon State's 41-38 upset win over Washington State. No, folks, you didn't hear us wrong. The Beavers pulled a rabbit out of their hat tonight. Ryan and I are going to be breaking it down, and make sure to head on over to BeaversEdge.com as we'll have more detailed analysis there. Wow, Ryan, just wow. Like, you, me, our entire BeaversEdge staff, we had a podcast on Wednesday. I hadn't, just been like they couldn't do anything, but I had such little confidence in this team to win this game, Ryan. They come out, put egg all over my face, play their, I think it's safe to say, the best game of the year, beating
by far.
beating a top 25 team in the 11th game of the year, nonetheless. And I'm shocked. Can you help me find words for this, Ryan?
No, I literally was in the same boat as you. I obviously, saw a world and where the Beavers could pull out a win, but didn't really have the cojones to really go with that. More of like given what we had seen over the past few weeks.
Sure.
And as the saying goes, any given Saturday, and the Beavers showed that, hey, they can win against a top 25 team if you're at home.
Just saying those words after what we saw in Colorado Springs a week ago, Ryan. 28-0. Take a quick pause here for a moment as this goes by. But 28-0 in Air Force a week ago, Ryan. Maybe the worst vibes for this program since the guy before Jonathan. Not even going to mention his name.
Who shall not be named.
That's just bad vibes. But those were the vibes that we saw last week. We asked the players, we asked the coaches, and make sure to check out the interviews from tonight. Just terrific stuff. But I asked Coach Bray, I'm like, we asked you on Monday, and the number one question we've been getting asked, Ryan, has he lost the locker room? Is this season done? Are they checking out? We wrote about it in our postgame, like, how will they respond these final 2 weeks? And I got to credit to Trent Bray, who all throughout was like, the Beavers are going to always, their response has been impressive. He's liked what he's seen. He's seen no quit amongst this team. And then Josh Gray mentioning post-game that it was Grant Stark, the Springfield, Oregon native, who brought the team together this week and said, hey guys, F it, why not us? And we didn't hear any of that until tonight. And those are the things in college football in today's world where it is getting so money hungry and everything else, Ryan. Those little moments like that, like Oregon State hadn't had a lot to be positive about. And we had talked about them needing to find something to hang their hat on. And, regardless of what happens next week, don't take tonight and think they're going to win next week. Live tonight for tonight. And this is a huge win for where this team was. 5-game losing streak to beat a team who last week was messing around with the playoff. Ryan, my hat's off to this group. We'll get into kind of the nitty-gritty. It wasn't all perfect, but
no, of course
man,
not.
after a 5-game losing streak, it feels pretty darn good. Buddy.
Oh, no, absolutely. And the thing, too, is, credit Grant Stark for setting the tone and everybody else following suit. In these final 2 weeks, I think for me, I was kind of looking with that type of mentality. That's kind of what I was looking for. That moment of hey, what do we got to lose? We literally have 2 teams that are close to CFP contention. Let's see how well we stack up against them. Have some fun. That's literally what I thought, that this team needed to do, make it competitive all the way through, play a complete game through 4 quarters, and they certainly did that tonight. While not perfect, the same as the late Al Davis said, just win, baby, and the Beavers did.
Yeah, you talk about the numerous good things that had to happen, but Ryan, you mentioned it best there. First time all season Oregon State played a complete game for all 4 quarters. I know you'll go back and say, hey, they won some games, they had 4 wins before this. In my opinion, this was the most complete game of the season in the sense of no third quarter fall off. We're looking at the box score here. 7 points first quarter, 14, 10, 10, consistent all the way around. And perhaps nothing was more impressive to me, Ryan, than when Bengal Branson had a couple picks in this game. Wasn't perfect. And, we kind of saw the conversations with on Beaver's Edge about him going back and forth. And obviously, Oregon State's quarterback play has not been superb this season. But in my opinion, pound for pound, you talk about who the opponent is, he played the best of any Oregon State quarterback this season tonight. And that includes a pick 6. And I totally understand where people's frustrations are going to come from. That kid, to go back out there, lead his team down the field, that's your quarterback right there.
Yeah, and Ben even said, too, post-game that his goal was to be aggressive, and he was tonight. And credit to him for, you know, flushing that out and going on to the next play. I mean, that's what you have to do as a quarterback. You can't just let, you know, interception get the best of you and let that dictate the rest of how a drive's going to go. You just have to flush it, go on, and leave everything out there on the field every Saturday. So, and Ben was able to do that in moments where it mattered, especially in the fourth quarter, where it looked like this game could potentially go into overtime. But Ben was able to just put the team on his back and give them a chance to win the game.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Ryan. We talk about him being Big Ben. Big Ben Roethlisberger would have been real proud of how Bengal Branson, on that 4th and 6, slid up in the pocket to avoid the collapsing pocket, found Jeremiah Noga, who just happened to get an inch of separation. That play to me was one of the best plays he's ever made in his career, if not the biggest play. And then I also, you know, go back to the performances that they got up and down the roster. We're 5 minutes into this video. Trent Walker, 12 catches, $136. I mean, Sauce Walker, man, as we finally learned, his nickname has been, you know, playing great ball. Jermaine Terry, big man on campus, play here right behind us as he sheds a tackler. But on the other side, you know, defensively, again, it wasn't like the Beavers came out and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a world-beating, like, where's this defense been, like we did with the offense. Offense is pretty simple to say, like, where's this offense been? And Ryan and I will be diving into that in our takeaways, so make sure to check that out. But as far as defense, it seems like they came up big when they needed to, particularly that fumble. You know, Jaden Robinson recovered. We got to go back and look at the video to see who forced it. But Jaden talked about landing on that fumble being an all-time moment for him. Despite that, Ryan, they did just enough because John Mateer was cooking tonight. I mean, you look at it, he only threw for 250 and 2 touchdowns, less than his numbers, but he was remarkably efficient. He seemed to find open receivers. Him on the ground, I mean, looking at his rushing numbers here, he led them with 85, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He is a dude. And, you know, that's why you look at it and go, okay, you know, Oregon State needed to outscore Washington State. And I don't think, considering this Cougar team, there's any shame in that. Like, I think the defense played a great game, limiting Washington State, getting them off the field a few times when they had to.
Oh yeah, making those plays when you need to is huge. And
bend, don't break.
Yeah,
almost.
bend, don't break
Yeah.
is essentially what they did. And I think that likely was the game plan going into this, given the bevy of weapons that Washington State has on offense, and knowing that the offense goes strictly through John Mateer in particular. And so if you can at least try to slow him down, you have a chance in winning this game. And the Beavers gave themselves that chance multiple times with those key stops that they got throughout the course of the game.
We're going to be wrapping up this game here, but I want to make one more note. Ryan, coming into this, if I had told you that Everett Hayes would hit a 46 and a 55, with the 55 being the one to win the game coming in, would you believe me?
Likely not, given where we all were at the start of this week.
Incredible.
Credit to Hayes. I mean, Everett has made big kicks in his career. 2021 against Colorado on the road, here against Washington as well.
Yep, big time.
Remember those kicks very, very well. The dude has it, and really I just want to shout out to him and the entire special teams unit for keeping it going, even through those inconsistencies early on at the start of the season, just powering through and being able to right the ship when adversity came their way. And yeah, hats off to Everett for getting his moment here on senior night, in addition to Josh Green as well too. I want to shout him out as well.
Absolutely. And again, Oregon State gets the 41-38 win over number 25 Washington State. You know, for what it's worth, Ryan, they print the conference standings here on the box score. Ryan and I see 1-0 for Oregon State, 0-1 for Washington State, the only conference game they'll play this year. So all in good fun, but nevertheless.
2-pack champs, baby.
There it is, right? Oregon State gets it done. They got Boise State on the road next week. That's next week's challenge, but we heard the guys in the postgame talk about they're eager to get after it. So excited to see how that breaks down. Big shout out to Ryan Harlan for joining me on this breakdown. Make sure to check out BeaversEdge.com as we'll have our expanded thoughts on Oregon State's upset win over Washington State.